So I looked up and there were two Taliban on a PKM machine gun. I moved my rifle across and I fired my fourth round. So now I've got two bullets in the air, 3 seconds apart. My name is Craig Harrison. I served 23 years in the British Army. I completed 10 tours of service and I am known for the longest sniper kill in the world. I had a good childhood. My childhood was good. I was born and bred in Cheltenham, but I think I was more groomed to join the forces because all my family were forces. So yeah, I joined when I was 16, straight from finishing my GCSEs, which I all failed.
So how did you get into sniping particularly?
So sniping wasn't heard of in my regiment. There was no role in the House of Cavalry to become a sniper. It was the fact that I went to Iraq and I met a sniper when I was in Iraq, and I thought, this is what I want, this is what I wanted. The director of Armoured Corps said there was no room for snipers in the regiment or in the Armoured Corps itself. But then he changed it years later and he said, yeah, having snipers in a regiment is a valuable asset on the battlefield. When you finish your tour, your sergeant major will come round and he will say, what courses do you need to do? And I was up to date with all my courses. And I said, I want to become a sniper.
What's the training like?
It's hard. It's hard. 30 started my course. And you have to do a basic fitness test, like a thing called a CFT, combat fitness test, which is 8 miles in 2 hours. We had to do it in an hour and a half with £50 on your back. They say £50 because when you go to war, that's the rough weight that you'll have on your back. Is that £50? Nah, you have more because you've got ammunition, you've got radios, you got everything. But your own personal kit will weigh about £50 on your back. 6 or 7 passed the whole course. You had to be an A1 soldier to become a sniper. And what they do on the course, they wipe you clean. It's like wiping a computer of a hard drive, and they rebuild you to where they want you and what standard they want you at. Because being a sniper is fucking hard. It's lonely, it's hard, and you have to make decisions on the ground that will change people's lives. When you first start at the sniper school and you've done the basic fitness test and you're in, you first do the shooting phase. So you start off 100 meters, then you go to 600 meters, and then you go to 1,000 meters. And so it's near, mid, far, and you have to pass certain tests and groupings at them disciplines, and obviously calculate the wind, the distance, the projectile. Once you've passed all that, then you go on to the sniper phase. Now the sniper phase is more harder. Being a sneaky bastard is quite hard. I'm 6'4", and to get into little spaces trying to hide from people trying to spot you or find you is quite difficult. And if you fail the shooting phase, you're gone. But if you pass the shooting phase and fail the snipering phase, then you become a sharpshooter. So you can go to the regiment as a sharpshooter, but you're not qualified as a sniper because you can't use a sniper rifle. So my first mission was in Iraq. It was in a place called the Maysan Desert. We had a thing called a MOG. It's called a Mobile Operational Group. So basically what you do, you'd move around the desert and then you would get an operation and you'd go off, do that operation, and you would come back. And every time we stopped somewhere, we got mortared. And in the MOG, you got the vehicles, you've got we call them Oshkoshes, but like they fill the petrol stations up with them. And what they were trying to do, they were trying to mortar the sort of Bowsers or Oshkoshes. Because if he hit that, it would have took off, well, it took all the MOG off. It'd be like a little nuclear bomb going off, So we would move in contact to somewhere else, and then about half an hour later, would get mortared. So somebody was dicking us, basically. And it was my job as a sniper to find that person that was dicking us. So the plan is the MOG would move off, I would stay behind, camouflaged in the sand. The MOG wouldn't go too far away because there's no such thing as lone wolf in the snipering world. You always work as a pair. all right? But this instant, I was on my own. But I had support with the MOG from distance. So if I got into a bit of drama, they could come in and, help me. And I noticed a motorbike, and he was trundling behind, and I could see him. Now, in the heat shimmer plays a lot. So if you ever watch a Western film where you see a person, he looks really tall, but as he gets closer, he shrinks. That's the heat shimmer, it does that. And there's 4 types of heat shimmer. So, and that will affect that bullet as well. So as I was laying in the sand, I covered myself with sand. I had an Israeli cam net and I cut a bit off it so I could ghillie up. I fired my first round. I had a green light to take this guy out. I hit the motorbike. It was roughly about 600 yards plus. He fell off his motorbike. He stood up, and then I shot again, and I hit him here. And the only reason I knew I hit him here because we went up to the body to confirm the kill, and obviously get as much information off that person as possible. His motorbike was stuck in the sand, and the throttle was stuck, so it was really revving. He had an AK-47 straps to his motorbike. He had a radio, we call it ICOM. So basically the frequency, they're tuned in to the insurgents, and that was going off all the time, and they're not going to answer it because I've just done my first kill.
How did that feel?
Weird, because if you line 100 soldiers up and you say who's killed someone, one person would put their hand up probably, or 2 people. It's not necessarily you're going to do your whole army career and not fire your weapon in anger sort of thing, or protection. I felt like I was in trouble, like, fuck, I've killed someone. I go back to the MOG and I sit on my camcot on my bed, and I sit there and go, fucking hell. I was waiting for a tap on the shoulder sort of thing, but it wasn't a tap on the shoulder to go, can we have a quick word? It was congratulations, because I've saved a lot of people by taking this guy out, and we never got mortared again, Yeah, I never got in any drama at all, but it took me a long time to come around that I actually did kill someone. Once you get over that initial fear of it, and then you got to realise in your head, it's my fucking job. I'm a sniper. You can't just look for your scope all the time. Because the primary role of a sniper is to do information. So it's lifetime information of the battlefield. It's not to go out and shoot someone. It's to get as much information as possible. Your secondary role would be the shooting, to take that target out.
You mentioned not being a lone wolf. Why do snipers work in pairs?
Sleep. You catnap through the day. He will take charge, you will take charge. You work in a pairs, you work in a 1 and a 2. Number 1 is usually the better shot. Number 2 is usually good at doing all the calculations of the scope and all that. His spotting scope would have the exact same graticle as your scope. So if he looks for your spotting scope and he says, yeah, there's 4 mil dots to the right, I can zoom on there and I can go, yeah, I know where that target is. And he works the windage out for you and everything. But the number 2 that I had, we're best to make still now, and I always talk to him. It's just not feasible to be on your own sort of thing, unless you're SF and undercover and doing something. Even they work in pairs, And
going to the bathroom is quite a difficult thing.
You end up, I used to pee myself. It was easier if I couldn't move. You get those squidgy, sort of like orange squash bottles, and we used to squeeze them and you put them in your mouth and blow them up, and then you just turn around and pee in it. So you've added weight now because you've got all your pee in there. So you take everything with you, so there's no ground sign at all around you, and you wouldn't know we had been there. We used to have a Tupperware tub with cellophane, and we'd go for a crap. You'd shit in this Tupperware, and then you'd wrap it up and put it in your backpack as well. You take everything with you. But the rations that you have, they're high in calories, so they keep you going. But the biscuits themselves are designed to constipate you. So we would just take biscuits out. It's called hard routine. So we would have no fires, no light, no nothing. And me and my number two used to work on sign language, and we'd understand each other because we'd been together for such a long time, you know. Yeah, we just do eat biscuits to concentrate ourselves.
So you would stay completely still?
Completely still.
What's the longest time you...
7 days.
7 days lying down in what position?
Yeah, I was an Afghan. When I was at the sniper school learning to be a sniper, I used to get my laptop with a film on and put it down the bottom of the corridor of our block we were living in. And while lads were just like chilling out on their beds or just relaxing, watching films, I used to get my rifle out and then look through my scope at the film. And I used to put my crosshairs on the actors. Then I used to put a 10p on my end of my barrel. So when I do the bolt of the sniper rifle, if the penny fell off or the 10p fell off, I'm being too erratic. So it just be flowing and steady. And you sit there for about two hours just sitting there practicing. And it's all about practicing. It's a perishable art. You know, if you don't keep on top of it, you make sloppy mistakes.
So what were you looking at for that 7 days?
It was a place called Panda's Ridge in Afghan, and it was a village. I wouldn't say it was a village, a small one. It was pretty big and had a road going down it. And this place in Afghan is where majority of the weapons would go in, and people from around Afghan or Helmands would go there and they would dish all these weapons out to them, and then they would go off and do their thing. So our job was to engage or observe first of all, and then engage key targets, which these weapons were getting dished out at. We were, I would say, about 900 meters away, and the closest target I engaged were 600 yards. If you notice, I'm calling them targets because in my head, if I looked at them as bodies, it would affect me more. So being a target would be better.
Can you tell me about the world record?
Yeah, so basically it was at the beginning of the tour in 2009. The Afghan army was getting taught by British troops, different patrol skills and stuff like that, to finish off in their sort of, not an exercise, but their training. They were going to go into a village in a place called Taliban, and their job was to clear the Taliban out because there was a lot of Taliban in there. But the Afghans felt more confident with Overwatch. Now what Overwatch is just heavy guns looking down into the patrol going in, and from the height you can see what's going on. And then you've got a kill box. Now what a kill box is it's got no cover, it's open terrain, and you cause max devastation. And the Taliban had worked out where this kill box was. So when the patrol coming in, I can see all the Taliban queuing up for an attack. And they had ICOM chatter, the radios, and I had an interpreter with me. And I was talking to him, going, what they're saying. And he's going, they're going to wait till they get into this certain area, which was the kill box. They don't know what a kill box is, but I worked it out, which is this area in the desert. Yeah, they got to this kill box and they opened up, and it was just a mass firefight. So I was taking targets out, and I saw a glint in the distance, and I was looking, and I thought, there's something on the radio there. So I got my binoculars out, and I said, yeah, I could PID someone, positively identify as PID. And then I could see a glint, so I fired my first round and it fell short. I could see it massively fell short. My sniper rifle was only meant to go 1,500 yards. That's the max range that rifle could go at. So I did a thing called bracketing, where I'd shoot, let it drop, go higher, shoot again, shoot again, shoot again. And I was lobbing the round in, that's what I call it. And on my 9th shot, I hit the compound wall. That round was just over 1.5 miles away. I didn't know that at the time, but I see the splash of the compound wall because it's made of shit and mud. And then the guy disappeared. Didn't shoot him. He just disappeared. And the ICOM chatter went quiet. And then a voice come up, and I said to my interpreter, what do they say? And he said that he can't help us because he's getting shot at from somewhere and he doesn't know why he's getting shot at. And then I had vehicles behind me. I said, lads, you're going to have to go into the kill box and act as a buffer so the patrol can get out, take their wounded out, and then we can act as a buffer and engage the enemy. You get trained when you're training an Afghan to always think 10 minutes ahead of the Taliban. And it takes them roughly about 20 minutes to flank you. So I always taught my lads to be 10 minutes ahead of them. Now, I thought that was a marker, and they're going to flank him, come behind me and take me out. Because as a sniper, you're only meant to take 2 to 3 rounds max and then get out of fucking dodge, because you're giving your position away. And as a sniper, you're a prize asset and you don't want to be caught. So I took him out 675 yards away. I still remember it now. And he wasn't a marker. What he had done, he had knocked the pump of the irrigation ditch. So all the field started flooding. It's not sand out there. It's really fine, like flour dust. And when it's wet, it is suctiony. And my vehicles were stuck and they couldn't get out. And all I heard was, and I looked at my lads and they're all on the ground taking cover. And I thought, fucking hell, where's that coming from? So I'm checking. Everywhere I engage targets, I'm checking. I go, no. I checked the patrol getting bugged out. They were fine. And the only place I didn't check is where I took 9 shots to get there in the morning. So I looked up and there were 2 Taliban on a PKM machine gun, which is a Russian machine gun. It can be drum fed or it can be belt fed. And it's like 700 rounds a minute or something ridiculous like that. So I looked and I knew where I was through my scope to hit the compound wall. So I fired my first shot and I missed. And it must have made a noise or whizzing sound past them, because the guy feeding the belt of rounds into the machine gun, he stood up. And as he stood up, he must have looked around. So I fired my second shot and I hit him here and he fell backwards. The machine gunner stood up, and as I fired my third round, it took 6 seconds for that round to hit target. If anyone watching this, just count 6 seconds on your watch. It's quite a long time where you've got people relying on you, and that 6-second pause, I couldn't wait that long. So I fired my third round, and as I fired my third round, I counted to 3. 1, 2, 3. I moved my rifle across and I fired my fourth round. So now I've got 2 bullets in the air, 3 seconds apart. Third one missed, fourth one hit him here. He fell down. The only reason I know why I hit him is because our SOPs were, if Taliban or the insurgents are killed, is to get their weapons, to stop them getting recycled back into the Taliban and reuse them. A PKM machine gun was a prize asset, a lot of money's worth. But by the time we got to the bodies, they were gone. We never recovered it. And it turned out that these 2 guys were Taliban leaders, quite high up, and they were orchestrating the attack. So no doubt one of them was the one with the radio at some point, but he got the good news at the end of the day.
When did you find out that it was a world record?
So basically it got lasered at 2,475 yards or meters, and left it as that. Just carried on doing my tour, managed to get shot twice in the helmet and the body armor. 3 days after that, I got blown up, got a brain injury, hips were knackered, and then the tour finished. And then what happens after a tour is you go to your regiment and you're sort of gated. I wouldn't say gated, but you're not allowed out. Married people can go home, but single lads stay in, and it stops the PTSD, or they can keep an eye on you. On the medals parade, the local paper comes in, or the local media, and they have to be escorted around camp by an officer. And one of the officers come up to me, he goes, can this guy talk to your lads? Because we had the most action out there, gunfights out there. So I told him the story I just told you, and I said, yeah, he got lasered at 2,475 meters. And he went, do you know, you broke Rob Furlong's record? I went, well, no, not really. I know Rob Furlong's a Canadian sniper, but he had a 50 cal. And they can go 4Ks in a straight line. My rifle only goes 1,500 yards, but I pushed it to that 1.5 miles. Do you know, there's 3 stages to a bullet. So when it comes out the gun, it's going supersonic, and then it goes transonic, where it wobbles, trying to stabilize itself, and then it goes subsonic, so it slows right down. It slowed down so much, we worked out it hit the target at 60 miles an hour. So if they had body armor on, they'd be still alive because it would just pinged off them. The weekend, because the medals parade's on the Thursday, on the Sunday, my phone was blowing up. I was like, what the hell's going on? My wife's Tanya's phone was blowing up. Have you seen the papers? Have you seen the papers? Yeah, so got dressed, went out, got the paper, opened it up, and it's me, full Bosch in the middle of this paper. Sniper breaks world record, Looked in the other paper, yeah, I don't know where they got the photos from. And then I looked at another, and it was all over the papers. Even went to America in the Times over there, New York Times. Somebody turned around to my wife and said, just let him enjoy it. Let him enjoy it. But my wife goes, this is not right. And then within a couple of hours, there was a knock at a door, and there was a gentleman there with a briefcase, and I never knew it existed. It was handcuffed to his wrist, and he popped the seat. Now I'm still in the military, so I'm quite disciplined. He popped the suit briefcase open and got this bit of paper out, and he went, you need to sign this. And I said, can I read it? He goes, you need to sign it. So I signed it, put it back in I wish I read it. Within a week, it was in the papers that the Al-Qaeda wanted to kidnap a Muslim soldier and cut his head off. And then they wanted to kidnap me and to teach me a lesson, cut my head off to teach me a lesson. So we left our marriage quarters and we went into camp. We went into hiding. We went into hiding for 3 years. And within that camp, I wasn't right. My head wasn't right. And I got diagnosed with PTSD, had a brain injury, lost a finger. My hips, I've had them both replaced. So that explosion that happened in Afghan really fucked me up, probably mentally and physically. So I got medical discharged not long after, it took a year, but it was in secure housing then. And then after that, we went into hiding for 3 years.
How do they tell you that they're discharging you?
So basically, you go and see the MO, which is medical officer. Something wasn't right with me, and I didn't feel right. I was crying all the time, argumentative to my wife, isolated myself a lot, flashbacks, irritability, anxiety through the roof. I'm a pretty fit soldier, and I knew, like I said, that something was wrong. So I saw the MO, and he said, I'm going to refer you to the mental health team in Aldershot. So I went there and spoke to a psychiatrist, and then I think a day later got called into the MO's office, and he said, yeah, you've been diagnosed with PTSD, and you're going to get medical discharged.
How long had you been serving in Afghanistan?
23 years.
How did you feel?
Lost. That's all I know. Since 16. That's all I know. I don't know how to pay bills, electric, water, council tax or anything like that, because the army looks after you. But yeah, I felt lost, didn't have a plan B. There's nothing that I can say now to describe how I felt.
How are you now?
I'm good. Yeah, I take medication. And I always say to people that medication's not the answer, but if it keeps me on a straight and narrow, instead of like that, I would rather have that. Do I miss that? Yeah, of course I do. But to function and do day-to-day activities, it's not, medication's not the answer, but it helps.
Are you at peace now?
Yeah, I have, like I said, I have my days where it's difficult. I have my days where I do want to be on my own. I've got a lot of guilt. There's other stories or other ops that I went on, and I've got guilt. I wouldn't say I was at peace, because I still struggle. I think when my mind is totally clear of things and I can get up in the morning and not sigh, or get up in the morning and go smile without putting a mask on, I think then I'll be at peace.
You must feel like you did more good than the story might come across, because you were trying to save people.
Yeah.
You weren't just killing people for no reason.
No.
Every kill that you made was to save a group of people that you were working with. That must give you the reassurance of, I was there doing my job and doing the right thing.
That's what my wife says, Tanya. She goes, Craig, you were saving, you were doing your job. Unless you're a psychopath, it's unnatural to kill. Unless you're hunting an animal or something, you go back to your Neolithic times. But to kill each other, we're intelligent enough knowing that that is not the right thing to do. And it's difficult being a sniper, you know, because you have to make them decisions on the ground. And I understand. I was helping people, totally understand. And I think my wife said to me once, she didn't really understand what I'd gone through. She does now. She used to say to me, they've got families as well. They've got kids, they've got wives. Yeah. Bad day for them then, wasn't it? Could have been me, you know, could have been me.